Hello. Apparently I'm live. Thank you, Bartek. Hi there, I'm Adam Lenson. Thank you so much for coming to this live streamed concert, the first from the Bonfire Sessions. Basically for a little while I thought it would be a cool idea to do composer concerts. For those of you who don't know me, I've been avidly supporting artist-driven new musical theatre, especially in the UK, where I live, in London. And I've been excited by the idea of getting individual composers to do concerts. And the thought was we would do that in venues, but we seem to be living on the internet at the moment. And so I thought we all need somewhere to be and something to inspire us, and it seemed like a good opportunity to put on concerts. So welcome to the very first of what I'm calling the Bonfire Sessions, and it gives me a great pleasure that our first songwriter to join us is the one and only, the sensational, the genius, Darren Clark. I'm going to introduce you to Darren to kick us off.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Adam. Adam is the only one I can see. so I'm just going to talk to Adam directly. But hello, everybody. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, friends. Hello, Maidstone. I think Maidstone's on as well. Yeah, it's lovely to be here. Thanks for organising this, Adam. I really appreciate it. So I've been going slightly out of my mind, as most people have, I think. So it's nice to have something to look forward to, and to panic about, to be honest. Can you hear me, Adam?
Yeah, I can. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I can. I just realised that my computer made a buzzing sound.
Okay.
And it was Bartek.
And I realised that
I
was meant to play a song, wasn't I?
Yeah, but you can play it now.
Let's do that instead. Let's do that. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, this is exciting. I'm just setting up all my stuff, and there we go. That's me. Okay. Right.
Brief account of history, a tomboy on her father's knee, a quiet girl with a cryptographic brain, while other girls took different roles. I was lost in ciphers, cracking codes, and I always had a puzzle on my mind. And just because the quiet rarely speak, to not confuse the quiet with the weak. The waves are in vibration before we hear the sound. It's in the finding that I have found. Oh, I find peace in the puzzle, a calm within the storm of discovery. I find peace in the puzzle. I find peace in the puzzle. The twists and turns in the middle of the maze is how I would spend my days. The contradiction started when a woman joined a world of men. The thrilling sense that I did not belong. I grew in skill, I hold my tools while gently breaking all their rules. And no one saw me coming up behind. I silently displayed my discontent, but do not mistake my silence for consent. In a world that cannot see you, in a world that's long been blind, I find peace inside my mind. Oh, I find peace in the puzzle, a calm within this storm of discovery. I find peace in the puzzle. Oh, 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 oh. I find peace in the puzzle. The twists and turns in the middle of the maze is how I will spend my days. Some people find salvation in solutions, in the moment when the music must resolve. Oh, but I have never shared in such illusions. I've been searching for the cipher I cannot solve. Now I know I've found peace in the puzzle, a calm within this storm of discovery. I've found peace in the puzzle of you. I've found peace in the puzzle. The twists and turns in the middle of the maze is how I will spend my days. I've found peace in the puzzle, calm within this storm of discovery. I've found peace in the puzzle of you. Oh, oh, I've found peace in the puzzle. Twists and turns in the middle of the maze is how I would spend my days. It's how I would spend my days.
Awesome.
Yes.
I was feeling like I should have, I want to applaud and that you would hear that, but then it would just be just me clapping. But hopefully you all applauded, or felt the need to. Feel free to applaud in emoji form so that we can see it in the comments, as strange as that is. Hi, Darren.
Hi.
Do you want to tell us what that song was? That beautiful song.
Yes, so that was a song from Turing, which is the new musical that me and Reese are writing, commissioned by your good self. So thank you very much for that. About Alan Turing, who was a mathematician during in particular during World War II, and he was the one who cracked the Enigma code along with his team. And actually that song was sung by the character of Joan Clark, who was the woman that he proposed to, even though he was gay. He proposed to her, and she was an incredible mathematician herself, a wonderful code breaker. And that song is sung by her at the moment when he proposes to her. And it was one of the first songs we wrote, and actually, because I've never got a chance to sing it before, I thought I would do that one because it's usually sung by a brilliant female singer, and I thought I would give it a crack.
Well, you did a lovely job. What I will say, hello audience, what I will say is, this is 1,000,000% live. Sorry for the terrible maths there, but like, as you're watching this is happening right now. I'm in my flat, Darren's in his, and hopefully that feels somewhat special to know that this is happening as you're watching. No pre-records here, as easy as it might have been to do some pre-records.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I've got all of the nerves that I would usually have, but none of the audience to allay them. It's like
No one's smiling at us saying it's going okay.
Smiling. I'm just looking at Adam's face.
Yeah. So I guess I know one of the main reasons that I know Darren is what we actually met at Beam 16 4 years ago. Yeah, I guess I suppose I'd ask why are we here? Why do we know each other?
Why do we know each other? I think I think one of the reasons we know each other is that we're both super crazy about new musicals, but in particular the new musical community, and that we're both quite interested in building the community of people, because there hasn't been one before it was just a few super mega giants, and then there was this, and we wanted to connect people, and I think we're both quite excited about that, and you do that through your Signal events and the various things, and obviously we met at Beam, which was part of that, organised by MMD, which is this wonderful community of writers, and who have helped me so much sort of find my own feet. I don't think I remember a particular time I was at a show with some of my friends. Actually, it was your show. It was Wasted. Came to see Wasted. Brought a bunch of my friends to see it.
Thank you.
And
so supportive. He is
so supportive. And so when we arrived at the theatre, like my friends were like, "Good God, you know absolutely everybody, don't you?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't think I did, but it turns out that I know a few people, and I guess that's partly because, like, it is becoming a community, and I think that's really great. And we're trying to do more and more to make sure that people feel like that it is an inclusive world.
I just think the more people writing and the more opportunities and the more kind of celebration of each other's writing, the better. And Darren and I always agree on that. Just a few other housekeeping things I forgot to say. If any of you want to ask Darren any questions, if you just tweet me at ALP Musicals. I can see that there's a chat too, but like that's kind of overwhelming to look at while this is happening. So if you just tweet at ALP Musicals, if you've got any questions or any comments, I'll read them out when me and Darren chat, and we can reflect on them, and then you'll definitely know it's live. So that's kind of. Well, thanks for shouting out Turing. It's the first show that my production company has commissioned, and I've always been obsessed with science and the idea of science and music, and that sort of being able to understand things that are difficult to understand. The brain of a genius seems something that musicals are very good at. And musicals are rarely written by just one person. That show is being written by you and the incredible Rhys Jennings. Rhys Jennings, yeah.
Rhys Jennings.
Yeah.
Never
heard. Yeah, no.
He's wonderful. He's a wonderful man.
Love you, Rhys. We thought we'd maybe go on to another song from a Clark and Jennings collaboration next.
Clark and Jennings collaboration, the only other Clark and Jennings collaboration. Yep. So this one we started writing a long time ago. It's called The Wicker Husband, which was sadly curtailed by the COVID outbreak. We opened and closed on the same night, and I thought I would do for this. Big shout out to our wonderful cast and our team, our creative team, including the wonderful Charlie West and Ra, who worked so hard on it with us for so long. I'm so glad that some people got to see it. I'm gutted that more people didn't get to see it. But this next song I'm going to do is called The Song of the Willow, and it's one that I've almost never performed ever, basically because we rewrote it so many times during the show trying to get it right. So it's kind of this is a lullaby that is sung by the ugly girl. Don't hate me. You'll figure it out when you come to the show. She sings it to a wicker baby, and it's about getting through the storm. And obviously we're all in the middle of one of those at the moment. So hopefully it'll be appropriate. So Adam, if you want to talk a little bit while I'm setting up. Okay, I didn't know I'd have to do that, but sorry.
No. Darren's got things to set up, so that's good. What I would say is, if you're enjoying tonight and you happen to be in the fortunate situation of still bringing in a living, then feel free to, in lieu of ticket price, you can see there's a donate link there. If you feel able to donate £5, £10 instead of a ticket for tonight, then you can do that there. Click through on that. Otherwise, send us some questions or some thoughts. If you're having a nice time as well, people can still join. So tweet about the fact you're watching it with a link to the YouTube so that more people can join the stream. Darren is ready, so here we go.
The silver birch, if spring were in the meadow, I'd sing to you of old man elm, should the autumn colours glow. I would sing to you of oak on a summer's day so long, but as the storm begins to blow, with the chill of winter snow, I will sing to you the song of the willow. For the willow, when she sings of pain. But beyond the willow's sorrow, she survives to sing again, though the wind will blow and the canopy will shake, though the boughs may bend, the willow will not break, for deep inside the willow's heart is strong. That is why I give to you my weeping willow song. I will sing to you of the silver birch, when spring is in the meadow. I'll sing to you of old man elm, when the autumn colours glow. I will sing to you of oak on a summer's day so long, but when the winter gale blows, follow where the river flows, and in your heart you'll hear the song of the willow. In your heart you'll hear the song of the willow.
So beautiful. And you'll notice, as well as a cavalcade of songs, audience, that Darren has also decided to kind of brag a little bit with his cavalcade of instruments. There's a kind of like almost a different instrument in every song, right?
Such a bragger.
Or such a talent, such a poly-instrumentalist.
No, I think bragging is more appropriate.
We've got some questions in. So let's answer them. Angie asks, Scarlett, age 6, wants to know what it's like to be performing for lots of people you can't see.
Scarlett, my little goddaughter. It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. It's more terrifying, weirdly, than actually seeing the people in front of you, because you're like, I can't say, if I know that you're all sitting somewhere out there watching, but I can't see if you're giving me the finger. That's an inappropriate answer to a 6-year-old. I'm sorry, Angie.
Swiftly followed by Charlie Westenra asking, can you ask Darren how he gets his hair looking so good?
It
does look very good.
It's VO5 matte clay. Little
Amazing.
plug for VO5. Thank you.
Just a comment about the blur. I saw a few comments in the YouTube about the blur. The blur is an option that Skype gives us to blur out the things that aren't the person.
Do people want to see what's going on?
The reason that we've done it is because it actually makes the video smoother and it prioritizes the sound. So it just means that for a concert we think it's better. But Darren's going to show you what's going on. Wait a second.
Give you a brief glance.
The blur's coming off.
At the room. Oh my God! It's a room full of stuff. Wow. Now I'm blurring it again.
It's blurring back. Okay, more questions later. But I suppose, I mean, I was heartbroken on your behalf when Corona stopped the Wicker Husband. I don't know, like, how's Corona treating you or not? Like, how's life as a writer right now?
Well, life as a writer, it's an interesting thing, because I've seen a lot of and I know a lot of people who've been doing wonderfully creative things, like writing songs about the COVID. There's a wonderful fellow called Tom Self, who's a really good friend of my lady Jenny Longley, who wrote a cracking cover of Victoria Wood's Let's Do It, and just like had millions of views on YouTube, and is wonderful and hilarious, and there's so many people out there doing so many things. I, on the other hand, have felt completely uninspired, and I've not written a damn thing since the whole thing started, it's in one way that feels like strange, but in another way it kind of makes sense, because there's I'm in a house and not a lot is happening to me, or I'm not doing a lot, and that's how I really get inspired, really, is by going out and doing things. So I don't know how you feel about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that we're on like a weird boundary where writing about Corona feels too soon, but then everything else that's not it feels too distant from our current experience. So we're kind of trapped between those two things. So I've noticed that writers who are kind of already rolling a project, they can kind of keep rolling it, but those who are sitting there going, what next? This isn't the easiest time to decide what's next, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and that's partly why people follow me on Twitter might have noticed that I've been doing other things, which are not necessarily creative in their sense, but I feel like they were hopefully useful. I very foolishly decided to make a directory for actor musicians, just on a whim on Sunday. I thought, well, that's something that I've always wanted to see. I wanted to go to a place and find actor musicians for my shows, because that's the sort of shows that I do. And when I was first starting out, I couldn't afford Spotlight access to anything, and so I put a little call out on Twitter, and it's now like 500 people later, and I feel like this project is going to take me a little while, but I'm glad to do it, because it's part of that community. And the other thing is the new UK musicals site, which I've been setting up since before this, which is a site for new writers to sell their sheet music, and it'll be a hub for everyone, for performers to go to, so you can sing in your shower and find new audition stuff. But it'll be the whole community of new writers, or a significant portion of them. New writers out there, get in touch. Let me know if you're interested in being part of it. Yeah,
I think what I'm sort of at least enjoying about this terrible time is that it's a good time for admin, and I've got lots of admin to be doing. But like, yes, maybe. So yeah, look forward to some admin and community-driven work from Darren and me over the coming months. Even if they don't necessarily write any Turing songs.
Nothing creative, just admin.
just admin. All right, so we've decided that this is not a normal time, which leads us on to the next song you're going to sing us. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes. So the next song is from a show that we did up at the RSC 2 years ago, I think, called Day of the Living. It's about the 43 students who were disappeared in Guerrero in Mexico, and they have not been seen since. The families have demanded that they be told where they are, but no one has come forward. I think things have developed since then, and there have been more answers that have been found, but through certainly no help of the government. It's one of my sort of political shows. I've been my eyes have been opened to political musicals by Amy Draper, and so this song is from that. It's a reminder that things are not normal, but they're not normal. So this is I'm going to play this on the jarana, which is a Mexican guitar, which is this one here. Just make sure it's working. That's functioning. Good. Okay. I'll just set myself up here. Okay. Ready, Bartek? Good to go? Great. Okay, I'm going to sit further away from this one because it's loud. There we go. All right. It might remind you of something. La Bamba, maybe? Making jokes and no one's laughing. It's just me all by myself. That's not normal. There's a severed head sitting on the sidewalk, baking in the midday sun. That's not normal, but it's not normal. He's got a fistful of fingers sticking out of his mouth as a warning out to everyone. That's not normal, but it's not normal. And the cartels kill at 5:45 to get the killing on the evening news. And the mutilated bodies make front page pics, and the bodies are dissolved in stews. But the sun is shining, the moon is bright, they're singing and dancing every night, and that just don't seem right. That's not that's not normal. That's not that's not normal. Just gone blur, 1 sec, and then we're gonna carry on. It's a dog! That's not that's not normal. But it's not it's not normal. That's Cowie. And that's Alvaro. They're allowed to be here. I am isolated with them. Yet another mass grave discovered in Guerrero, littering the mountaintop. That's not normal, but it's not normal. The police and politicians are raking in the money with a cut from the cartel's crop. That's not normal, but it's not normal. Mr. Donald J. Trump is sitting in the White House, finger on the nuclear code. And 43 students disappear from the buses that were stopped by the side of the road. But the people smile, the people hope. The gods only know how the people cope. Because that's not that's not normal. But it's not it's not normal. That's not that's not normal. But it's not it's not normal. Take a bow, Cowie.
I knew nothing about the dog cameo, but it's delightful.
Oh no, I'm not blurring my background. Great. Yeah,
just Just quickly, just before we get too distant from it, I've just had a question to tell us a little bit about what the Wicker Husband is about. So
Yes.
if you've got like 2 sentences about the Wicker Husband.
The Wicker Husband is about. Let me unmute and take my reverb off.
Uh-oh, we've lost you.
Am I there?
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah, you're
Hello.
back. You're back.
So the Wicker Husband is is the story of a town pre-industrial revolution where everyone is known by their titles. So no names exist, and in this village of very pretty folks, there is a girl, a woman, young woman. They have branded the ugly girl, and the ugly girl is basically the town pariah. And one day she's sitting underneath her willow tree, who is her only friend, and she wonders what it might be like if she could have a husband. She's the only one who doesn't have a husband. I know it sounds very 1930s and 40s, but there's a point to it all. And she so she wishes for this husband, and a little wicker dog overhears her conversation with the tree, and it steals her creel, runs off into the swamp, and in the swamp she meets an old basket maker, and this basket maker can weave things that come to life so living wicker, and she asks him for a husband, and he agrees to make her a husband, and basically what ensues from that is a tale of revenge, redemption, love, magic. It's a wonderful story. It's based on a short story by Ursula Wills-Jones, and Reese stumbled across it 9 years ago, and we've been working on it ever since.
And
so
we'll
hopefully that answers
all be there at the watermill when it triumphantly reopens.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, moving on to the song you just did, and our new guest star, Alvaro.
Our guest star, Alvaro. Hello, Alvaro.
Hello.
No, Alvaro can only hear me,
Yeah.
so I'm going to relay everything to him. So Alvaro was one of the performers of the original Day of the Living, and he prior to me actually to the COVID lockdown, I was living with Alvaro. He was kindly providing a halfway house between me moving into my new place in Maidstone with my lady and her lovely son Dylan, and then COVID happened, and I was forced to stay here with him and his wife, and I've been stuck here ever since.
Poor you.
Poor me.
Poor me,
eating delicious Mexican food and hanging out with a wonderful dog. Oh, they've been wonderful. So and we thought that since we were here together, we might as well do some numbers from the show. And actually, this next number that we're going to do is it was written for the show, but it never made it in because the show was only allowed to be 75 minutes long, even though we had enough material to cover about 9 hours. But this was always one of my favourites, and I loved the way that Alvaro sang it, and so thought we'd get a chance to do it here. Yeah. So, is there anything you want to say about it, Alvaro?
Well, yeah. The title is Yo soy el venado, which means I am the stag, and in the play we had the dance of the stag, which is there's a folkloric dance in Mexico, and that's
it's what's the stag a symbol of?
well, if I think in the in some parts the venado is in like a like a sacred animal, especially in the what is it, in the Wirarica communities, which is where the peyote exists. So I think it's something about the venado, the stag helps you find your way to enlightenment.
Yeah. And in our story, it was the students who disappeared were kind of represented by the stag. It's a powerful animal, a strong animal, and so this is called Yo soy el venado.
Yeah, and he has the stag gets hunted.
Yes,
Right.
it's a hunting. So it felt like the students were being hunted, and so it felt like a stag hunt to us, and so we came up with this, and you'll get to hear Alvaro sing it.
Yay.
Right. Well, we'll do that now for you. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Okay.
The sound of the river, the earth at my hoof. Yo soy el venado, the sky is my roof. The wind of the mountains, the sap of the tree. Yo soy el venado, their song is in me. Yo soy el venado, the eagle has flown. Yo soy el venado, I stand on my own. I stand in the clearing, alone in the shade. Yo soy el venado, and I am afraid. The cry of the arrow, as swift as a breath. Yo soy el venado, the sound of my death. Yo soy el venado, the eagle has flown. Yo soy el venado, I fall on my own. The hunter may kill me, my body may burn. Yo soy el venado, and I will return in the cry of the eagle, in the Mexican sky. Yo soy el venado, my song cannot die. Yo soy el venado, made of blood and of bone. Yo soy el venado, I am not alone. Yo soy el venado, made of blood and of bone. Yo soy el venado, but I am not alone. Yo soy el venado.
Beautiful. Alvaro, thank you so much. Oh, can you thank him for me, Darren?
Yes, thank you, man.
Pleasure.
Thank
I
you.
did not know when we started this that we would have guest stars. So that is cool. And you really chose someone with a lovely
Go cook
voice.
Dinner. Go cook dinner. He's going to cook me a burrito.
Well, you really chose your isolation partner well.
I really nailed it.
Well done. The just a reminder to everyone, if you did want to send in any more questions, you can at ALP Musicals. And also, if you're having a nice time and if you would have traveled or paid to see a concert performed by Darren Clark, just to say Darren Clark has very kindly waived any fees for today, which I offered him, and said that all of the donations will just go to our Writers Fund, which means they go to writers to write whatever they want, giving them time, space and money to write what they want. So yeah, if you are able to, just check out alpmusicals.com/donate. Yes, I don't even need to ask you if this is worth a $5 because I know it's worth a $5. And as I said, Darren generously has donated his fee. A couple more questions. So third question is from Victoria Saxton. She asks, well, I'll reframe her question. She asked, can you ask Darren if he agrees that the book writer's the real talent here? But I would maybe use that as a chance. You've mentioned all of your book writers so far. Maybe a chance to talk about your collaborations with book writers.
Well, yes. So the one I haven't. So Juliet Jilks Romero was the book writer on Day of the Living. And also my collaborators Amy Draper and Charlie Cridlin, director and designer, and dramaturg Charlie Weston Ra on Wicker Husband. And Rhys Jennings obviously as the book writer. It's a really, really important. I mean, to my mind, everyone who's involved in a musical. So the composer, lyricist, book writer. You should all be book writers. You should all understand that everything is equal. Everything is a complete partnership, because nothing works without a good story. You can't, and you just can't work in isolation with here we are in isolation.
Trying to find ways of working.
Trying to find ways of working, but no, we can't. You can't write a good musical, to my mind, without collaborators. Even Lin-Manuel with Hamilton, he had damn good dramaturg and director working with him to make sure everything fit and worked well. So while I won't go so far as to say they are the superheroes, I would say they are the unsung heroes, definitely. They're the ones you'd never hear mentioned. Every time, so there were some reviews of Wicker, where there was mention of, there was very little mention of any structural problems in it, and that is a huge achievement for a new musical, to have no mention of any structural problems, because that is an absolute beast. Figuring out a new story and then musicalizing it is an absolute bugger of a thing to do, and that's a tribute to the book writers and the collaboration, and they are very, very rarely mentioned. So yes, Victoria Saxton, I would agree with you that the book writers are an absolutely vital part, and they are just not talked about enough. Well,
yeah, it's funny, isn't it? They always call them Stephen Sondheim musicals, and he's always like,
yeah,
no, Stephen
what
Sondheim
about
and
James Lapine?
James Lapine.
Right.
What about George Firth? What about? Yeah, absolutely. It's what's amazing about musical is that it's a collaborative form, and that real feeling of the fact it couldn't have been made unless everyone that was in the room was in the room, and that everyone was a part of that story, is what's so moving. But in isolation, we're just stuck with Darren. But luckily he can play lots of instruments, and he has and has a really good voice. But I mean, just hearing through those shows, we've got a kind of a sort of a metaphysical maths musical. I didn't make that sound the coolest. You'd want to see it. A metaphysical musical about the war and genius. You've got a folk musical, a sort of a morality musical that's sort of folk and world music based, and then you've got a Mexican political musical. Anyone who says that a musical, they hate musicals because they know what musicals are, which would already be flummoxed by you. But I don't know. Tell us about that's obviously to do with book writers.
I mean, I think that's something that you've always been quite heavy on, is that, you don't... musicals are capable of anything. They can tell any story. And there are, many people have an idea out there about what they are and what they can be, that it's the glitz and glamour, it's, it's the showbiz musicals. It's the big epic stories, but they don't have to be that. They can be intimate. They can be epic. They can be political. They can be comedic. They can be dramatic. They can do anything. It just takes the imagination of people like yourself, the imagination of the writers themselves, and then, crucially, the imagination of producers and audiences to go, yeah, actually, I believe that this could make a brilliant thing, and this could be a wonderful story, and so let's do it. Let's throw some money at it, or let's go and see it tonight. I haven't heard of this thing, but let's go and see it. Let's see what it's about. These guys might fall on their asses. In fact, they probably will, but at least it's an opportunity to get drunk. I
mean, that for me, completely. For me, I mean, maybe I'm wired the wrong way, but hearing something new. The last song we just heard, Alvaro saying, was completely new to me, and that's
world premiere recording, actually,
right? Yeah. So that's very special for me to hear that new thing, and I feel very privileged for that. But So I'm always confused when everyone else wants to hear the same, I Dreamed a Dream for the 30th time. But
I mean, it's a cracking song. But
it is a cracking song. God, can you imagine being there at the world premiere of that song at the RSC whenever that was? So I'm no diss. It's just like we've got people who can write new stuff that you can hear right now, and isn't that a privilege? So the last show, Day of the Living, was a political infused work.
Yes.
The next show is also a political musical. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes. So this one was one of the first opportunities I had to write a musical. In 2014, Amy Draper was introduced to me by my good friend Angie, and I was playing in a folk band at the time called Columbus Giant, and we used to have gigs playing at the National Theatre, like in the foyer. And Amy came to see us one night, and she thought, I quite like this. Maybe he could be like the songwriter for my show, which was called These Trees Are Made of Blood, and it was about the Argentinian disappeared of the 1970s and 80s. I knew absolutely nothing about the Argentinian disappeared of the 70s and 80s. In fact, I didn't even know that any people had disappeared in the world. So this was a completely new thing for me. But during the Dirty War, 1978 to sort of 83, about 30,000 Argentinians were disappeared by the right-wing government. And Amy was making a show about it. And so she'd asked me to come on board as a songwriter. And we eventually, through the faith and the imagination of a fellow called Jim Croxford, who ran Theatre Bench at the time, he found the money to get the show on at Southwark Playhouse. And this particular song that I'm going to do next is called Would I Do It All Again? And it's one that I remember beginning to write in the hallway of Shoreditch Town Hall, whilst lots of other people were rehearsing other things. Me and my friend Angie were sitting in the hallway, and I'd just started writing this song for the General, who is the one who did it, who ordered these murders to take place, these disappearances to take place. So I started thinking about things from his point of view. It's a cabaret show, so Amy's brilliant idea was to put it through the sense of a cabaret, and so we got to play all sorts of different play with all different sorts of music for that. And this is I feel like a really twisted, messed up cabaret number called Would I Do It All Again? So I'll get on with it, shall I? Okay. I'm going to be looking more closely at the camera, everybody, because my lyrics are on a different thing for this one. Here we go. Okay. Stop mumbling to myself. Every now and again I can hear my WhatsApp go, and I know someone's texting me to say stop being an idiot. So here is me about to not be an idiot. This involves me turning pages, so I'm going to practice turning a page. Okay, there we go. Okay. Bear in mind, this happens towards the end of the show. Kind of sounds like it happening at the end of the show, doesn't it? Would I do it all again? Would I do it all again? It was 30 years ago, and now you want to know if I do it all again. If I had another shot, knowing now what I did not, and I had the chance to go to the beginning of the show, would I do it all again? Would I do it all again? You think me inhumane, you think my life an entertainment. We were in a state of war, there was order to restore, my precious country was in pain. I heeded Argentina's call, I was a father to you all, but taking in the aftermath, would I choose another path? Would I do it all again? Well, let me just explain. They called it the gentleman's coup.
and who would deny that's true? We work towards a cleaner, forward-thinking Argentina for the benefit of you. But it seems we saved a state full of children who are damned ungrateful. You were part of it too, the gentleman's coup, and the country was restored. We brought you peace and law and order. I poured my patriotic blood into Argentina's mud, and this is my reward. But it is Argentina's pride you dare accuse of genocide. After all you put me through, you asked me what I do. I did it all for you, and I do it all again. I would sacrifice you all, line you up against the wall, blow the brats to smithereens. The end has justified the means. I'd do it all again. I'd do it all alone. I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again.
The end.
Awesome. And, you know, a fourth show and a fourth instrument.
Fourth show, fourth instrument. I did not do this deliberately.
Your reverb is still on.
My reverb is still on. Let me turn it off because that sounds weird.
It's fun doing
Right.
gigs in isolation when the performer has to do their own sound as well as
Doing
perform.
my own sound.
He does
It's
everything,
nice.
plays all the instruments, does your own sound. You know, it's impressive.
It's nice I get to do my own sound because I get to put as much reverb on as I like, which makes me sound better than I actually am, which is great.
No, stop it.
You stop it.
It's I had a question all lined up and now I forgot it. Oh, well, so I will ask. Well, Charlie Westomer has asked another question, but a more serious question than how your hair looks so good.
She's got
And
so many questions.
She's asked about working with actor musicians, which is something you do a lot. There are actor musicians in The Wicker Husband. There are actor musicians in Day of the Living with These Trees. Do you find that changes the way that you compose, or that changes your process?
I think it changes the process. I think it changes the process of how the songs end up sounding. It has an influence on both the writing and certainly the arrangements. None of my songs would sound anywhere near as good as they do without the input of all of the brilliant musicians who come and play them for me. I think the wonderful thing about acting musicians is they're inherently generous people, in that they don't mind, or I think they don't mind, not being in the spotlight, because at certain points in the show they support each other, they have to accompany each other, and I think there's something very generous about that, and that sort of follows through into the nature of the act of writing for them. I think I know I'm never going to have to worry whether this person has enough to sing or this person has enough to play, because they're just there to serve the story, as we all should be. So I think that, and obviously the actors and singers absolutely have that ability and can do that as well. But there is something special about the actor musos, especially the ones I've had the privilege of working with so far. They're all wonderful. They've become good friends of mine over the years. And the other thing is that they're really, really great musicians, and so they know, they improvise, and they take my songs and they improvise. They improvise the tunes. They improvise their parts, and the songs become something new. They're organic and they grow. One of the songs from Wicker Man, my Wicker Man, has had so many influences over the years. Many people have come along and sung that, and I've just stolen all the things that they've done. and pass them off as my own. So,
I always say that, like, you want a rehearsal room, instead of working in series, you want it to work in parallel. You want all of those brains networked together to kind of come up with something denser and more beautiful. And then the great thing is, what happens in a rehearsal room is for everyone, and then outside you can take all the credit.
Yeah, exactly. Who's written the music and lyrics? Oh, it's Darren Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No one else is there. I mean, I'm always very careful about crediting everybody on the arrangements, but they do so much more than what they're written down as doing.
Also, as an audience member, I find it so moving watching an ensemble on stage, watching a group of people who care about one another, and that, as you say, is sort of intrinsically heightened in acting musicianship, because they need to be on stage together, supporting one another at all times. I guess the other thing I remembered that what I was going to say before I asked you this question, which is one of the lovely things about doing composer concerts, which I hadn't kind of anticipated, is unlike a show where we really see a cross-section of different styles, and it's almost a really good way of showing to people who think they don't like musicals, or thinking that musicals are incapable, of just how capable they are. Yeah. And which leads me on to our next song, which is actually, we're getting further back. We've kind of dramaturgically
going back in time, aren't we?
Kind of back in, I mean, we haven't been, we haven't gone in chronological order, because that would be too boring. And so actually, These Trees was one of the first shows.
The first adult musicals I did, right? The first professional adult musical I wrote.
But before that, were many musicals for not adult audiences.
But before that, basically how I got my sort of start in the professional world was through a lovely group that we sort of formed a group called Paper Balloon, off the back of like a performance that this wonderful person called Katie, she's now called Katie Reeve, but Katie Boone back then, she drew together a bunch of her friends who were all interested in theatre, and said, "Hey guys, do you want to make a show for my dissertation?" And we were like, "Yeah, we're not doing anything." So we did, and none of us were paid anything, but we all really enjoyed each other's company, and so we just kept on making shows until we eventually started getting paid for them. That's and that over the years we formed this company called Paper Balloon, and the key contributors now are myself and Alex Konevsky and Dori Pinchin Kinnear, and Dori Kinnear Pinchin, I can never remember which. But we make shows together, and they're for theatres for young audiences, and music is a huge part of those shows. We always make a big thing of making sure that there's lots of music in them. But the thing we like about that is that children's audiences are the hardest audiences in the world to please, and to get your shows right, harder than any adult audience by far, because they're not drunk, none of them. So this next song is from our most recent show. Actually, it was called The Boy and the Mermaid, based on a story that Alex had written about the Syrian refugee crisis. And this song, this show is a shanty show. It's set on the coast of an unknown coast. These three mythical fishermen tell the story of the boy and the mermaid. It's about inclusivity. It's about not judging people for who that you don't know based on their appearance or where they're from. And this particular song is the boy has a dream one night, and he dreams that he's gone to sea. He longs to go to sea. That's his thing that he wants to do, and he longs to go to sea. And the fishermen lure him in his dreams and tell him what they think that the sea is going to be like. And this is called The Song That You Sing at Sea. I'm just going to grab my my next instrument. So this is an accordion. Hello, everybody. I'm no Joe Hardy or Joey Hickman on the accordion, but I can give it a bash. So this song is sung by the three fishermen, and in the middle it has a cameo from a character called the Funktopus. And yes, I hope you enjoy. This is for the little ones and their families. Scarlett, Dylan, Ava, back home, New Zealand. Enjoy. Right, here we go. I'm setting my Is that all right, Bartek? Okay.
If you want to be at sea, you've got to sing a song, you see. And everything you see at sea has got to sing along. If you want to see the sea, to really S-E-E the sea, you can't just be at sea, you see. You've got to sing the song. Away, oh, I must go with the salt in my eyes from the spray, oh, to be where the wind is free, singing out the song that you sing at sea, singing out the song that you sing at sea. If you want a fishy dish, a fish that's so delicious, if catching fish is what you wish, then loosen up your tongues. Out beyond the rocky sea is struck a flock of seagulls flocky flock and opened up their lungs. Away, oh, I must go with the salt in my eyes from the spray, oh, to be where the wind is free, singing out the song that you sing at sea, singing out the song that you sing at sea. If you catch a flabby crab, a pretty not a shabby crab, grab it with a grabby grab upon your crabby hooks. If you catch a hammerhead, be careful not to jam her head inside a massive clam. Her head is softer than it looks. So I must go with the salt in my eyes from the spray, oh, to be where the wind is free, singing out the songs that you sing at sea, singing out the song that you sing at sea. Gonna stop it there for a second. Hold this while I scroll down on my lyrics. All right. Welcome to the Funktopus. When you Songtopus, I'm the Funktopus. I'm an H-U-N-K Hunktopus, you little punktopus. I'm not a monktopus. Did you hear what I say? I'm the Funktopus. I got an undersea marine themed doctorate. Yeah, I'm known to rock the party, got a rock to it. I'm a cephalopod, I got a boneless bod. What you're hearing is the underwater voice of God. Well, I'm tentacular, so spectacular. When I'm spitting in my undersea vernacular. Oh, when I swim by, all the ladies cry, he must be the king of the octopi. I'm an octopi, king of the octopi. Ain't no octowuss, no baby, I'm the Funktopus. I'm an octo guy, I'm so octo fly, I'm so Funktopus, baby, I'm the Funktopus. Away, oh, I must go with the salt in my eyes from the spray, oh, to be where the wind is free, singing out the song that you sing at sea, singing out the song that you sing at sea.
Proving that even young audiences deserve mosaic rhymes. And perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Blur.
So you've heard us mention Bartek. Those of you who've tuned into Signal or things before may have heard that name before, but just time to give a big shout out to Bartek Podkova. Bartek is a videographer by trade who makes incredible multicam videos, but is also just very, very astute technically. And realizing that we couldn't all be together and couldn't film videos anymore, he trained himself as a live stream guru. So I would say if you need, so we're obviously still in the early days of figuring out how to do live streams. But he's amazing. So 7hillsfilms.com, check him out. And all of our Signal videos are the multicam videos are made by Bartek, as are a lot of the recordings of my shows. But in the short term, if you need live stream solutions, get in touch with 7 Hills Films and Bartek. In the long term, hopefully we'll all be in a place where we can have beautiful videography again. So while we're on, you just said thank you into my earphones for only us to hear. Just while we're on housekeeping, again, just a third and final thank you to Darren for doing this for nothing, and to say if you are having a nice time and if you are able in this weird time to pay a ticket price, you can do so at alpmusicals.com/donate. The donate means that what you're doing is you're giving it to the Amplify Fund, which is a fund I've set up, which is to give writers money simply to write, to give them time, space, and money to do nothing but care about what they care about, and to build it. Yes, that being able to offer money to writers to write is even more important in this current moment we're going through. So we were going to be giving out the money in spring anyway, and so I and a panel including Darren are going to be talking about how best we can give out that money to help writers. So yeah, if you're watching and you're having a nice time and you would have bought a ticket, lpmusicals.com/donate. All right, telethon moments are over, I think. So we've gone backwards in time from your first show that you wrote professionally for adult audiences. We went back through your work for young audiences, and now back even further to one of the first songs you wrote, which I've never heard before, which I'm excited to hear.
It's back beyond time itself. So I first started writing songs when I was in New Zealand, and I was about, I think I was about 18, 19. And about this one, but I never wrote words. I didn't write words. And then this was one of the first songs I wrote with words. It's one that I played with my band, Columbus Giant, which was back in the day.
What a name.
What a name. I promised my friend James Adams, who, if he's watching back in New Zealand, then this is a shout out to him. We always promised each other that if we ever had a band together, I would be called Columbus Giant and he would be called the Flying Wilson, and we would call our band Columbus Giant and the Flying Wilson. And sadly, our band never came to pass, but my half of the name stuck when I started a band over here. So this song is called Jimmy Once Played Here, and I guess it's not from a show or anything, but it's where my, I guess, love of storytelling through song started. So I'm gonna play that one for you, and hopefully I will remember it from all those years ago. I've played it plenty of times since, but here we go. Okay. Let's get this in
I can remember when Jimmy was young, and life all around him was living so well and so long. But the trees that he played in were being cut down by a greedy tree merchant who needed more gold for his crown. He said diamonds were pretty, but they aren't enough for the man in the suit with the shiny black shoes. Sun's more than welcome to shine on your face when the shade is all gone and the cool breeze replaced by a plaque that says Jimmy once played here. Jimmy once played here. Jimmy grew up, was a family man, when he said to his children that he would require their assistance. They went to the park, they played in the stream, and he asked them what they thought life really means. They said diamonds are pretty, but they aren't enough. You can live your whole life and not know that it's yours. The sun's more than welcome to shine on your face when the shade is all gone and the cool breeze replaced by a plaque that says Jimmy once played here. Daddy once played here. Jimmy grew old and his hair went grey, and the trees of his youth had vanished away. His rocking chair creaks as he sits there alone, and the wind whistles melodies cheery and sad by his home. For the diamonds were pretty, but they weren't enough for the man who has lived among life and its faults. His sun's more than welcome to shine on his grave. Now the shade is all gone and the cool breeze replaced by a plaque that says Jimmy once played here. Jimmy once played here. Jimmy once played here.
That was nice.
Thanks, man.
It's lucky I like.
That's nearly 20 years old now.
Just remember to turn the reverb off. There you go. He's turning it off.
There we
So,
go. No,
one of the-
there we go.
One of the things I've always loved about your work is an obsession with things that I love, which are time and memory. I've always thought that music is very good at stories of like time and memory. And
I believe you are right, Adam.
but like you wrote that ages ago, and it's clearly something that's been on your mind for a while. Do you have any reflections on
Yeah,
that?
I don't know. Like if I can't remember reflecting upon anything when I was younger. So I'm not sure if I mean maybe it was somewhere inside my brain, but I don't remember reflecting upon anything apart from girls. That's the only thing I
So it
reflected
obviously you were having these deep thoughts somewhere in your unconscious, and they came out through your music, probably in order to impress girls.
in order to impress girls, obviously.
So thankfully we got some good art out of it. So those of you who've been paying attention will realize that we've been going in reverse order from Turing through Wicker, through kind of in terms of the writing of these shows and songs. And in a quirk, in a structural quirk, we're now going to leap to the most recent show that's been on in a theatre, and the last song was a story of someone from cradle to grave, and the next song is going to be from a show about someone who went from grave to cradle. I got that the right way around. Tell us about that.
It is. Yes, so this is a song from The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which a lot of people will know the basic story of. And fortunately, about halfway through 2018, I was approached by Jethro Compton, who is, I believe, is watching somewhere in Vienna with his girlfriend Sophie. Hello, Jethro. How you doing? He met me through Danielle Torrento, who's a big champion of new musicals as well. And his composer had dropped out, original composer for Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And fortunately for me, he stumbled across me, and we started working on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. He already had a date fixed with and no musical written, so there was no motivation like actually having a show that had to be written because it was going to be on. And so we started writing straight away. And actually, this song was one of the last that we wrote, actually, because we wrote about four or five songs for this moment, and they were all wrong, every single one. They were all interesting and fun in their own way, but they were all completely wrong. And we eventually stumbled across this while eating a lot of fried chicken. And it's a song that Benjamin Button sings at near the beginning of his life, which is obviously as an old man, and he's been locked away in in an attic by his father, who was ashamed of him after his mother committed suicide because of the shame of the whole thing. And this song is called A Little Life. I think it's a little bit potentially a little bit pertinent to all of our situations now. There's just a longing to go outside and just to have a little bit of life again, and not be isolated. So Benjamin was isolated for the first few years of his life, and he sings this song called A Little Life. So I'm going to play for you. Okay. Let's move away a bit. There we go. Okay. I love being my own sound guy. It's great. Okay.
I've got a roof over my head, I've got a blanket on my bed, but like my old man said, I've only got a little time. I was born so close to dying, with barely breath for sighing, that it hardly seems worth trying to even live. But all I want is to live a little life, feel a little bit of freedom, see a little bit of sea. But what I'd give for the little life I'd live, if I could live a little life. I'd drink some pints of Cornish ale, and I'd leave a drunken trail that ends the night in Bodmin jail with some drunk, care-knowing fools. I'd catch a proper Cornish meal, I'd catch a mackerel on my reel. Just think how free I'd feel with my feet upon the shore. Oh, all I want is to live a little life, do a little bit of drinking, lose a little of my heart. Oh, what I give for the little life I'd live, if I could live a little life. I do not need adventure, I do not need success, I do not require monsters to defeat. Just a simple act of wandering along a cobbled street would be enough for me. If all I want is to live a little life, could I keep a little secret? Could I take that little step? Oh, what I'd give for the little life I live, if I could live a little life. Oh, all I want is to live a little life, feel a little bit of freedom, see a little bit of sea. Oh, what I give for the little life I live, if I could live a little life. If I could live a little life, if I could live a little life, if I could live a little life.
This is one of those moments where it's always good that I'm wearing glasses so that no one can see that I am crying.
Oh, bless you.
Thanks, Darren.
Pleasure.
All right. Well, look, that takes us to the end of our evening. Thanks for doing this, Darren.
I'm just changing my thing.
Yeah, don't speak with reverb.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. Yeah.
I've realized retrospectively, it's kind of like a mixture of podcast interview and concert is what it's turned into. But it's been nice. I've learned a lot about you, and I have loved hearing all of these songs, many of which I've heard for the first time. Just some thank yous, basically. Thanks to the audience who've tuned in live. It's been really nice. This is a weird time, and it's really nice to feel that focus and the tension of a group of people all doing something together and all caring about the same thing at the same time. So thanks for giving us that, of spending this time with us. It's been really nice to get pictures of this up on your TVs or up on your computers. So thank you, and thanks for your lovely comments. A big thank you to Bartek, computer wizard that he is, and helping us kind of brave this new frontier. Just a thought that if you're a writer and you're watching this and you think that you could perform a gig in isolation, like you don't have to play quite as many instruments as Darren, but if you think that you could sing, accompany, and do an entire gig in isolation, drop me a line, because this was a nice way for me to spend an evening. So, and hopefully it was a nice way for you all to spend an evening. So yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, feel free. But there will be more of these. Hopefully. Just a reminder again, obviously the gig has been free. Darren and my time and Bartek's time has been free, but if you're able to donate at alpmusicals.com/donate in lieu of travel and tickets and all of those other things, then please do. And if you've had a nice time, then if you could tweet at alpmusicals, at DJ Clark Music GJC. I've set up a website called thebonfire.uk, which has little treats and musical theatre digital content on, which you could go have a look at that. I didn't start a Twitter for that because that was just been too much Twitter. Too many handles already. The gig will... I've got a program that I made, but we didn't want to put it up in advance because we wanted you to all be a little bit surprised. But I'm just going to put that onto my Twitter, ALP Musicals now, along with a link to this feed, and it will stay up for 48 hours. A limited... 48 hours only. We're making this one limited to try and make it special, but that means that if you want to watch it again, or if you want to get your friends or followers to watch it, do it now, because it won't be here forever. I think that's everything I need to say. Do you have anything you need to say?
Once again, thank you to yourself and Bartek, for being such champions of new musicals. Thanks to all my friends and family who are just so wonderful, and many of whom have tuned in tonight. Thanks to Maidstone, thanks to London, thanks to New Zealand, all you guys. I love you guys. And also, just once again, if I haven't made it clear, I'm nothing without my collaborators. Thank you to all of you who make my musicals with me. We make our musicals together. It's a real privilege working with you guys, and long may it continue. Yes, and I've just got. I'm just going to say goodbye with one final number. Also from Benjamin Button.
I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else I need to say. I don't think so. 48 hours, thank you so much, but most of all, thank you, Darren, and thank you to this incredible community that we're all a part of. Sorry, Bartek switched over and then switched back. Oh, God. All right, leaving you now with the... I didn't say anything useful there, but hopefully I gave you all a laugh. Leaving you with the incredible Darren Clark. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Okay. Final song is also from Benjamin Button, and it's called Time, something that we potentially all have quite a bit of at the moment.
We have time. We all have time. We cannot choose when we arrive upon this earth. We can't control the circumstances of our birth, but we have time. We all have time. If we are young, what is young? It can often take some time to realize that a person can be young and yet be wise, that a life is always more than it appears, that a life cannot be measured by its years. If we are old, what is old? We're all dropping down the ladder rung by rung. For people can be old and yet be young, that a life is but the sum of all its parts, a memory of moments in our hearts. There's still time. We still have time. We have time. We all have time. We cannot choose when we arrive upon this earth. We can't control the circumstances of our birth, and we cannot predict the length of our last breath. But even in the moment of our death, we have time. There's always time. Oh, it's all just a matter of time. All just a matter of time. Oh, it's all just a matter of time. It's all just a matter of